Okay. Hi, I'm Teacher Faye again, and we will continue our lesson on grammar. So now we have here past continuous. That means there is something happening at some time in the past. And of course, simple past, that means it already finished, okay? The activity or the action already happened. Okay, hi. Hi, Yewon Kim. Hi. Okay, so let's have here I was doing, past continuous, that's past continuous, and I did, simple past. Alright, so we have here Eric. So first let's read this one. Eric was reading a book. Okay, so that form is in the past continuous form. The phone rang. Okay, the phone rang, that is the simple past. He stopped reading. He answered the phone. Okay, so these three are in the simple past. And here, Eric was reading a book, that's in the past continuous. Okay, so let's try here. When the phone rang, Eric was reading a book. So that means at some point wherein Eric was reading a book, the phone rang. Okay, the phone rang, so that's why he stopped reading. Okay, and he answered the phone. There, answered. So that is in the simple past form. Okay, next one. What happened? Okay, what happened? The phone rang. That is in the simple past. Okay, so that means it already happened in the past. What was Eric doing when the phone rang? He was reading a book. So remember how we put it in a question, the past continuous. We have first the be verb, then your subject, and then your verb doing. Okay, he was reading a book. So if we use it in a statement, now we have here the subject, the be verb, and the verb. Okay, he was reading a book, so it is in the past continuous form. Okay, what did he do when the phone rang? Did do. Okay, did he do, that is in the simple past. Remember, what did he do when the phone rang? He stopped reading and answered the phone. So these two forms of your verb are in the simple past. Okay, that means it already happened, or it is already done. Now we have here Eric began reading before the phone rang. Okay, so before the phone rang, Eric read the book. He began reading, that means he started to read the book before the phone rang. Okay, so it was at some point in time wherein Eric was reading a book, meaning in between the time that he was reading a book, or during the time that he was reading a book, the phone rang. Okay, Eric began reading before the phone rang. So when the phone rang, he was reading. Okay, so that's in the past continuous form. So let's try here. Oh, there is a diagram that showed or explained the events. He began reading. So this is the point where he began reading. And then he was reading all throughout this time. Okay, and in between this time, the phone rang. Okay, so what happened when the phone rang? Of course, he stopped reading. So this is the time when he stopped reading because the phone rang. The phone rang when he was still reading a book. Okay, and after that, he answered the phone. Okay, obviously he stopped reading and answered the phone. Hi, Mulan Fob. That is great. That is good to hear that you are alive. I'm alive. We are all alive. Okay, so we have here the differences between simple past and past continuous. Let's try here in section B. Simple past, letter A. What did you do yesterday morning? Did, okay? Remember, did and do. Yesterday morning. So the answer, we played tennis. Okay, that means from 10 to 11:30. So beginning, they started playing from 10 and they ended playing at 11:30. Okay, so we played. That means it's the complete action. From 10:30 to 11:30 for 1 hour and 30 minutes, they played. Okay, so the action is basically complete. We played tennis. That is in the simple past. Play, that is your base form, the verb, plus ed. Okay, don't forget the ed, that is in the simple past. But here in the past continuous, don't forget when we are asking a question, we use the be verb were. Okay, what were or what was? What were you doing? And of course, your verb in the ing form. What were you doing at 10:30? We were playing tennis. Okay, so that is supposed to be, or that is your answer. We were. Don't forget your were or your was, and the base form of the verb plus ing. So that is in the past continuous. Okay, we have here the beginning. So this is your beginning, just the 10 o'clock in the morning. There is no end to it, okay? Because it is unfinished. The action is unfinished. We were playing, so that means we didn't know what time they ended playing, okay? In contrast to your simple past, we have here the complete action, okay? So we knew when it began and when it ended. But here, in your past continuous, we only knew when it began, but we didn't know when it ended, okay? Now let's have here, let's go back to the case of Eric. Eric read a book yesterday. Okay, so the action is complete, right? Eric read a book yesterday. So we knew that Eric read a book. So there should be a time frame, okay, from beginning to end. So we knew that he read a book from beginning to end. And here Eric was reading a book when the phone rang. So we didn't know when he ended reading the book. Eric was reading, okay? So that is in your past continuous form. And here, simple past form. Did you watch the movie on television last night? Did you watch? That means it's simple past. Here, were you watching television when I called you? Were you watching? So that means were you watching television when I called you? Or were you watching something is happening in the past, or something is happening in the middle or in between of that? Were you watching television when I called you? So here, this is your simple past, and this is your past continuous. Okay, so that means it is something in the past, a point of time in the past. It didn't rain while we were on vacation. Of course, didn't. So that's why your verb here should be in your base form. Didn't rain, okay? It did not rain while we were on vacation. But here in your past continuous, it wasn't raining when I got up. Okay, so that is your verb form. Was not or were not. And of course, rain plus ing. So it's not the base form, but it should be in the ing form. It wasn't raining when I got up. Okay. Now let's try here. I started work. That means started. That means you began working. I started work at 9 o'clock and finished at 4:30. So that is your simple past, right? There is a time when you began and there is a time when you finished. I started work at 9 o'clock, for instance, here, and finished at 4:30. Okay, and at 2:30, that means somewhere between 9 o'clock and 4:30, I was working. Okay, we have here the time. I was working between 9 o'clock and 4:30 because I started at 9 and I finished at 4:30. So that means the time between 9 o'clock and 4:30, I was working. So that is in your past continuous form. Was and working plus ing. Okay? Next, it was raining when we went out. Okay, we have here, it started raining before we went out. Okay, here yours past continuous. It was raining when we went out, so that means it already started raining. Okay, and here we went out, that is your simple past form. It started raining before we went out. So we didn't know when it started, but we knew that when we went out, it already started raining, or it was already raining. I saw Lucy and Steve this morning. Saw, so this is your simple past form. They were waiting at the bus stop. Okay, so we didn't know when they started waiting at the bus stop and when they ended waiting at the bus stop. So there was no beginning. I mean, there is a beginning, but there is no end. They were waiting at the bus stop. Okay, I saw Lucy, that is your simple past, and here they were waiting, that is your past continuous. Okay, and the last one here, Mija fell asleep while she was reading. Fell, here, this is your simple past, that she was reading, or was reading, that is in your past continuous. Okay, so in that point of time where she was reading, or Mija was reading, she fell asleep. So in between that time where she was reading, she fell asleep. So it's the same as the case of Eric. He was reading a book, and then somewhere in between that time, the phone rang. Okay, so that's why he stopped reading and answered the phone. Okay, so that is your past continuous and simple past. Okay, so let us go to the exercises. Now, look at the pictures. Put verbs in the past continuous or simple past, okay? Past continuous or simple past. So it could be either, or it could be either of the two. Now let's take a look at the picture. Okay, so she is painting and then she fell down, and oh no, what happened to her arm? So let's take a look at this one. The first one is given for you. Linda broke her arm last week. So we have here your time expression, or your time modifier, last week. Okay, so it already happened. And when we say it already happened, our verb should be in the simple past. Okay, so what is the simple past form of the verb break? Of course, broke. Okay, so that is why Linda broke her arm last week. It's not Linda was breaking her arm last week, okay? That is wrong. Now let's try here the second one. It blank when she blank her room. So let's try the first one. It blank happen. So your verb is happen when she blank her room. And the second one is paint. Okay, the first one, happen. So what should be the form of the verb happen? Should it be in the past continuous or in the simple past? Okay, don't forget when here, okay? It's like an indicator of the past. When she blank, so that means she was doing something when she broke her arm. So what should be the verb or the form of the verb happen? Should it be in the past continuous or simple past? It blank when she blank her room, and your verbs are happen and paint. So what should be the form of this one? Happen. What should be the form of the verb happen? Okay, so it should be here. It happened, okay? It happened. Happened, so it should be in the simple past, okay? It happened when she was painting her room. Okay, so in between the time that she was painting her room, it happened. She broke her arm. Okay, it happened. So this should be in the simple past. Happen should be in the simple past, and paint should be in the past continuous. Okay, so it happened when she was painting. Okay, she. So what B verb are we going to use? Was. Okay, she was painting her room. And how about the last one? She blank off the ladder. She fall. So the verb fall. What should be the verb? Or what should be the form of the verb fall? Should it be in the past continuous or simple past? She fell. Okay, she fell off the ladder. So it's already in the past and it already happened. That's why she broke her arm. Okay, so this is in the simple past, and the past tense or the form of this verb is fell. Okay, she fell off the ladder. Alright, so we have here Linda broke her arm last week. So that's your time modifier or time expression. It happened when she was painting her room. She fell off the ladder. Okay, so in between the time wherein she was painting her room, like somewhere in between here, she fell and then she broke her arm. Okay? Now let's try number 2 here. The train blanked at the station and Paula blanked off. 2 friends of hers, John and Jenny, blank to meet her. The train blanked at the station and Paula blanked off. So what should be the verb of the first one? Arrive. The train blanked at the station. So what should be our verb? The train arrived at the station. Okay, it's not the train was arriving and Paula got off. Okay, the train arrived at the station and Paula got off. Because if you are saying the train was arriving at the station and Paula got off, that means the train hasn't stopped yet. And then Paula got off immediately, but the train hasn't stopped yet, right? So the train arrived at the station and Paula got off. Or Paula got off. 2 friends of hers, John and Jenny, wait to meet her. So what should be the form of your verb? Okay, so I'm gonna put it here. This is in your simple past, arrived. So we just put letter D there. And here at the station and Paula got off. So it's in the simple past. It's still in the simple past. Okay, so we just change this one to got off. 2 friends of her, John and Jenny, blank to meet her. So what should be the form of the verb? Wait. So what should be the form of the verb? 2 friends of hers, John and Jenny. Hi, kakeru? Naruse? You sound so familiar. Okay, and you should say sorry, I was late. Okay, not sorry, me late. It's wrong. Sorry, I was late. By the way, hi. Okay, so we are already here. I hope you can catch up, kakeru. We are here in number 2. This one. So we have here the train arrived at the station and Paula got off. Okay, 2 friends of hers John and Jenny blank to meet her. So should it be in the simple past or the past continuous form? So what should be the form of the verb? Two friends of hers, John and Jenny blank to meet her. So what should be your verb? First, tell me the form, if it's in the simple past or the past continuous, and then tell me the verb. So we have here the simple past. Two of these are in the simple past. And how about the last form of the verb? The last verb, wait. What should be the form of the verb and what should be our verb? So the answer is two friends of hers, John and Jenny, were waiting. Okay, were waiting to meet her. So at in between that time wherein the train arrived and then Paula got off, Jenny and John were waiting. Okay, so they were waiting. This is the time wherein they're waiting, and then here somewhere in between, the train arrived and then Paula got up. So this should be, why delete? Oh, what delete? Okay, so delete something. What should we delete? There's nothing that we should delete here. Okay, two friends of hers, John and Jenny, were waiting. Okay, were waiting. So this is in your past continuous form. Okay, were, since your subjects are two, John and Jenny were waiting. Okay, were waiting to meet her. Okay, so before we proceed to number 3, do you have questions? Because we are already in number 3. Okay, so let us try here. Number 3, we have Sue. So the character right now is Sue. So yesterday, Sue blanked down the street when she blanked Jim. Okay. Sue blanked down the street when she blanked Jim. So what should be the form of the verb walk? Should it be in the past continuous or should it be in the simple past? Yesterday, Sue blanked down the street when she blanked Jim. So our verbs are walk and then meet. Okay, so here, yesterday, Sue was walking. Okay, so this should be in the past continuous. Sue was walking down the street when she met. Okay, so this is in your simple past. So that means in between the time wherein Sue was walking, for example, this is the time wherein Sue was walking, somewhere in between she met Jim. Okay, so look at this one. She was walking down the street and then she met Jim. Okay, he blanked home and he blanked a bag. So we have here your verb go and then carry. He blanked home and he blanked a bag. So here, look at Jim. He blanked home and he blanked a bag. So what should be the form of your verb? First one, go. So what should be the verb here? He blanked home and he blanked a bag. Go and carry. Okay, remember here yesterday Sue was walking, okay? Was walking down the street when she met Jim. He blank home and he blank a bag. Okay, so our verb here, he was, okay, he was going home. So that means he went home. I think it's not went, because look at this one. He was going home. Okay, so that means he was going home, but he met Sue, or Sue met him. Okay, so he was going home, and he here, of course, was carrying a bag. So that means we are describing Jim at the time wherein Sue was walking and then she met Jim. Okay, he was going home. It's not he went home, right? Because Sue and Jim met, remember? So that means he didn't went home, but he was going home. So his plan was to go home, but he met Sue. Okay, he was going home and he was carrying at the bag. So at some point in the past, he was carrying a bag. So that's why it's in the past continuous. They blanked to talk for a few minutes. And your verb now here is stop. They stopped to talk for a few minutes. So what should be the form of your verb? Stop. They blank to talk for a few minutes. So what should be the form of your verb stop? Stopped. Okay, very good. So they stopped. And by the way, the spelling of stopped is S-T-O-P-P-E-D. Okay, so there should be two letter P's. S-T-O-P-P-E-D. Okay, they stopped. This is P, E, and D. Okay, stop, because it's an irregular verb and it's a word that ends in a consonant. Okay, so the rule is we should add another consonant, or we should double the letters or the last letter. Okay, stop. So that is the rule because it ends in a consonant. Okay, stopped to talk for a few minutes. Okay, so here it's in the simple past. Okay, so did that satisfy your question, Kakeru? Before we end? That's why it stopped, because this is a consonant. The word ends in a consonant, and it's the rule that we should, okay, you're welcome, we should add another letter and add ed. Okay, so they stopped to talk for a few minutes. Okay, so I think I will end there because I don't have enough time. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and I hope you learned something today.